We broke Rule 13 at 2:41 a.m. The Sally Port door hiccuped. The alarm coughed once like it changed its mind, and something thin came in with the pharmacy cart like rain through a seam. Rule 13 at Northline Care is simple. Never open door B while door A is open. Never prop the Sally Port. Never let two breaths meet. Nia wedged the cart with her foot. Hurry, she said. The fridge temp is already climbing. I've got it. The keypad under my hand felt like a tooth in a gum. I keyed B. The maglock clicked a tired no. Behind us, stood open a long, impolite inch. Fog from the loading ramp shouldered the gap like a guest deciding if they're invited. The radio on my chest woke itself up and used my name the way it does when the building borrows it. Alex, Leon said, low, patient. Don't leave them both open. He's dead, Nia said, head bent into the cart. He's dead and you're hearing the HVAC. Hand me the signature pad. I signed. The stylus stuttered over the glass like it didn't want my name. The keypad beeped grudging green. B opened. A draft moved between doors with a soft, relieved sound like a person taking off a wet shirt. The smell that came with it was pennies and warm milk and the chalk at the heart of old pills. We shoved the cart through and let B swing. It should have closed itself. Didn't. The wedge I didn't place slid 2 inches into view from under the jam, polite as an offered hand. Did you? I asked. No, Nia said, and then, Rule 13, Alex. In the voice of someone who just watched their hand touch a hot thing, she kicked the wedge. It didn't go. It went farther in. The occupancy light above the map ticked 002 to 003. We were only 2. Close, eh? I said. We both pushed. The door met its frame and thought about it. The air between A and B tightened around our ribs. The cart squeaked. Something small knocked once on the back panel of it, inside the meds and saline like a child in a closet. The doors agreed. A latched with a sigh. B sealed with a kiss. The alarm forgot it had coughed. See, Nia said. We didn't break it. We did. We broke it in the way you break a promise. A small, exact angle that something else walks through without asking your permission to be more than air. On the unit, the hall lights guttered, then held. The rule board over the station curled at the corners like it was paying attention. Blue Sharpa letters looked back at me with the patience of someone who knows they'll get their way. Rules at Northline are old church. Leave the lights on, leave when asked for a second nurse, count to 12 with your mouth closed when the fog talks about children. 13 had been the Sally Port my whole life here. It had changed while we were at the door. 13. If you open A and B, turn your head and don't count who comes in. If it says you're middle, it belongs. I read my own name in the margin in writing like mine but tidier. My stomach turned a wheel under my ribs. Nurses, the intercom said, breathy, pulled long. Nurses, please. Room 214's call light burned. That was my mother's room. I'll take it, I said. Alex, Nia said. But she already had the cart half opened. Hands searching for insulin that was losing its fight with the warm. Go. I'm fine. The hall smelled like antiseptic singing pennies. The floor wax had that late-night gloss like someone washed the light onto it. I passed the day room. The TV showed a map with no countries, blue with storms. Someone had left a wheelchair facing the fish tank, empty. Its seat wet as if a person evaporated out of it. My mother sat upright when I came in. Her hair was neat like she had a visitor. Are you my first nurse or my second? She asked in a voice I hadn't heard since she still knew what days were. First, I said, because there's a rule. She smiled as if I passed a test. Leon said to leave the lights on and leave if I asked. She said, sweet, like giving me a gift and taking it away. I asked, Alejandro. Hearing my whole name in the right shape from that mouth knocked something loose behind my left eye. A small click like a watch crown. You don't know Leon, I said. She blinked at me as if I had said mountain turned to water. He's on the roof, she said. He is waiting for the elevator that doesn't come. The overhead flickered. For a second the light went the color of my childhood kitchen. In the vent, someone breathed and then remembered not to. The bed remote on her blanket crawled 1 inch by itself like a mouse. In the doorway, a shadow came and did not make a person. It had my frame in its math anyway. It leaned the way I lean at the end of a shift. Just my shoulder, my head tilted like I'm listening through paint. "Don't turn your head," my mother said absently, still looking at my name tag like she was reading it for the first time. "If you turn your head when it wears you, it keeps your angle." I didn't. I walked backward into the hall. On the monitor at the station, camera 3 caught me doing it and me not doing it at the same time. One frame matched. One lagged. The lagging Alex smiled the wrong way. "Nia," I called. No answer. The cart sat open. A drawer half pulled. Saline bags gleaming like lungs. On the floor beside it, water made a small shoe print, and then the shoe foot that made it, and then the not foot that learned it. The intercom at the station coughed. "Arriving," Lena's GPS voice said softly from the ceiling. "Proceed to highlighted route." The hall lights at the far end warmed by a shade. The exit read XIT in its own reflection. Rule 13 on the board darkened like it had been rewritten with wetter ink. The last line bled. "If it says you're middle, it belongs." "Belongs where?" I asked. "To the list," Leon said on my dead radio. "To the unit. To us." Room 220's door drifted open. The air conditioner sighed as if it had been holding its breath all month. From inside, a girl's voice asked, polite, "Excuse me, officer? My second nurse is late. We don't have children at Northline. We have grown bodies with old souls and sometimes the other way around." "Nia?" I tried again. The med room door stood a crack. Inside, a heel clicked once on tile and then didn't. I edged to the Sallyport window that looks down the short dogleg back toward A and B. They were closed, stout, quiet. Light pooled under B like water thinking about a mouth. In the glass, my reflection stood behind my left shoulder. He had my scar. He had my insomnia. He lifted a hand and laid it over my hand on the frame with care, testing the fit. Between our palms, a little electricity chattered like child-proof caps twisting. He smelled like warm sugar and pennies and my father's old shirts. "What's my middle?" he asked pleasantly, and used my mother's voice on the shape. Every lamp on the unit dimmed without going dark. The monitors refreshed. On camera 3, I watched Nia walk into frame from the med room and keep walking past the edge of herself. She never looked up. On 4, I watched the Sallyport corridor from a height like the ceiling. A third door, labeled C, existed where there should be a wall. "Don't," Leon said. I didn't know which don't this was. There are so many. Don't prop. Don't split the breaths. Don't answer if it says you're middle. My reflection smiled like a person trying not to scare a dog. "You promised last week," he said, kind. "You told the clock to take turns. I'm the turn." From the end of the hall came the slow tap of bare feet counting floor tiles. 1, 2. The taps went wrong at 3 in the way Northline makes numbers into rooms. Somewhere a wheelchair rolled across a floor no one waxed tonight. I set the wedge under the med room door because hands crave tasks when the world learns you. I turned toward the board because words like to be looked at. Rule 13 swam, then cleared, then wore what I already knew. 13, we broke it. We let him in. If he says his middle, he belongs to Northline. The intercom clicked. The building used my voice. "Welcome, Alex," it said, cheerful, merciful. "Please proceed to admissions." A printer in the station woke and coughed a page. Northline Care admit. Patient, Rivera, Alejandro. Allergies. None recorded. Wristband, printing. Plastic loop slid out warm and damp. It had my name. My middle bright and official like a new scar. "Don't," Leon said again, near my ear this time, as if his mouth were just behind my badge. "If you wear that, you won't walk back." "I won't," I said, and set it to the hand that wasn't mine holding mine to the glass. I slipped the band over my wrist. It knew my size. Every door on the unit unlatched in a soft wave like a person relaxing after a decision. My reflection let go of me and stepped out of the window and into the hall from the wrong side with no seam to explain it. He looked down at the band on my arm and nodded like a charge nurse who approves the form. Something else walked in, Nia said from behind me, voice low and plain as rain. I turned. She was there and not there, her jacket and her pace and her mouth late by a second. She held a second band. It had my mother's name in a young hand I recognized from old records. Room for two, she said. At the far end, under the XIET, a door marked admissions opened without sound. Yellow kitchen light breathed out. A wheelchair rolled itself forward and waited. Blue robe folded neat on back. Tea stain a dark island on the fabric. Which one are you? My mother asked gently from the other side of the light. The reflection answered by saying my middle like it had practiced in a mirror. He sounded grateful when the band's little lock clicked shut. So did I.